Hi, and welcome to the fourth video podcast. My name's Charlie and I'm a nutrition scientist working on the education team at the British Nutrition Foundation. Today I'm at the BNF office in London and we're going to continue to look at the Eat Well plate in a bit more detail, this time focusing on the meat, fish, eggs, beans and other non-dairy sources of protein food group. Then later on in the nutrition feature I'll be looking at food allergy and food intolerance in a bit more detail. So let's look at the types of foods that will fit into the meat, fish, eggs, beans and non-dairy sources of protein food group. We should try to eat some foods from this food group every day. There are lots of different foods to choose from in this group, so make sure you vary what you eat. Different foods provide different nutrients that your body needs to be healthy and function properly, so variety is key. This food group is important in our diet as it provides protein, which we need for growth, development and repair. But foods from this food group also provide important vitamins and minerals, such as iron, particularly from red meat, B vitamins, especially vitamin B12, which is found in foods produced from animals, vitamin A and zinc, found in oily fish, eggs and meat, magnesium, present in nuts, fish and meat, and omega-3 fatty acids, found in oily fish. Meat is a good source of protein, as well as other vitamins and minerals such as selenium, zinc and B vitamins. It's a good source of vitamin B12, which is only found naturally in foods that come from animals. Red meat is also a very good source of iron in our diet, as it's easy for our body to absorb. When buying meat, the type of cut or meat product that you choose, as well as the way that you cook it, can make a big difference to the amount of fat the meat contains. Go for lean cuts of meat or remove excess visible fat whenever possible. For example, you can do this by removing the skin from chicken or trimming excess visible fat from meat. Also, try baking, poaching or grilling meat rather than frying it, as these cooking methods will use less fat. Next, let's look at fish. It's recommended that we should all be eating at least 2 portions of oily fish each week. Fish is a good source of protein, and oily fish provides vitamin A and vitamin D. A portion of fish is 140 grams. Examples of oily fish include salmon, trout, sardines, pilchards, fresh tuna and mackerel. Examples of non-oily fish include cod, haddock, halibut and plaice. And did you know that canned tuna isn't an oily fish? That's because most of the fat is removed in the canning process. So, fresh tuna does count as an oily fish, but canned tuna doesn't. Fresh, frozen and canned types of fish all count, but remember fish that is smoked or canned in brine can be high in salt. So check the label to see how much salt these types of fish contain. Alternatively, go for fish that is canned in water rather than brine or oil. The next food in this group are eggs. There are many different types of eggs, but in the UK we generally eat chicken eggs. Eggs are a good source of protein as well as other vitamins and minerals such as vitamin A and D, as well as B2 and iodine. Although there isn't any recommendation for the number of eggs that we can eat each week, or say each day, it's best to have them as part of a varied and balanced diet. Beans are the next food in this group. There are many different types of beans, such as baked beans, red kidney beans, broad beans, soya beans and products made from these, such as tofu and textured vegetable protein. These foods provide a source of protein that is suitable for vegans and vegetarians, as well as fibre and iron. However, it is best to have a source of vitamin C with these foods, as the iron they provide is harder for our body to absorb. Vitamin C helps your body absorb the type of iron that is found in non-meat foods. For example, you could have baked beans on toast with a glass of orange juice. Unlike meat, fish and eggs, beans are not sources of good quality protein. This means they don't provide all the essential amino acids that we need for our body to be fit and healthy. Therefore, it's really important to mix these types of foods with foods from other food groups. So we've been through some of the main foods from this food group, including meat, fish, eggs and beans. But there are also other non-dairy sources of protein, and these foods include nuts, seeds, mycoprotein and pulses, such as lentils and peas. So, to summarise, 1. Have some foods from this food group each day. 2. Go for variety to get a range of vitamins and minerals. 3. Have 2 portions of fish a week, one of which should be oily. 4. Bake, grill, poach, steam or microwave these foods instead of frying them and remove excess visible fat to keep the fat content down. And 5. Beans, pulses, nuts, seeds and soya products are all good alternative sources of protein vitamins and minerals for vegans and vegetarians, as well as meat eaters. The second part of this video podcast is going to explore food allergy and food intolerance in a bit more detail. There's often quite a lot of confusion about food allergy and intolerance and how common they really are. Food allergy and food intolerance is often an unpleasant reaction to a specific food or ingredient, and it can be characterised by a range of different symptoms. Food allergy and food intolerance are not the same thing, and there's often quite a lot of confusion between the two. Food intolerance is really used as an umbrella term for any unpleasant reaction to a specific food or ingredient. Food intolerance, such as lactose intolerance, where someone is intolerant to the sugar that is found in milk, does not cause an immune reaction. If someone has an immune reaction that is not normal to a specific food or ingredient, then this is known as food allergy. Okay, so I'm here with Joanne Lunn, who is one of our senior nutrition scientists at the British Nutrition Foundation, and I'm just going to be asking Jo some questions about food allergy and food intolerance. So Jo, how common would you say food allergy and food intolerances are?
Well, not as common as many people believe. Although it's estimated that about 20% of people think that they have either a food allergy or an intolerance, when we do tests we find that this actually isn't the case, and roughly only about 1 to 2% of adults and about 5 to 7% of children actually suffer from some form of food allergy or intolerance.
And what would you say are the most common food allergies and food intolerances?
Well, the ones that lots of people have heard of are lactose intolerance, and then celiac disease, and peanut allergy, but there are obviously lots of other different types of foods that people can be allergic or intolerant to.
So can you tell us a little bit more about lactose intolerance?
Of course. So people who are lactose intolerant aren't able to digest lactose properly. Lactose is a sugar naturally found in milk products, and because they can't digest it, they feel very uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, they might get diarrhoea, feel very sick for instance. And lactose intolerance is much more common in childhood. In fact, most of the time when children get older and start school, they grow out of lactose intolerance.
Milk and dairy foods are an important source of calcium in the diet, so it's important that a suitable fortified alternative, such as a fortified soya-based drink, is used to replace them if they are avoided. There are now many different products available, such as soya-based drinks and yogurts. So could you also explain celiac disease?
So gluten is a protein that's found in wheat, rye and barley, and oats also contain a protein that's quite similar to gluten but not exactly the same. So some people who can't tolerate gluten can eat oats. So it's very important that people who have been diagnosed with celiac disease avoid any gluten in their diet, and they should look out for gluten-free products.
So what's the difference between wheat-free and gluten-free then?
A wheat-free product doesn't contain any wheat, whereas the gluten-free product won't contain any cereals that do contain gluten, so the wheat, the rye and the barley.
Okay, that's great. So can we just talk a little bit about peanut allergy then?
So peanuts are one of the most common causes of food allergy, and there's a wide range of reactions that you can see. Very mild reactions to peanuts can involve your lips tingling or getting a rash, but it can be a very more extreme cases can be even fatal.
Peanut allergy tends to be lifelong, and as there is no cure, those that are diagnosed must avoid all sources of peanuts. For some people, even very tiny amounts of peanut can cause a reaction. Many people who are allergic to peanuts carry an EpiPen, which helps prevent a severe reaction occurring if they are exposed to a peanut allergen. So, in summary, 1. Food allergy and food intolerance are not the same thing. 2. Although any food can cause a food allergy or food intolerance, generally 14 foods are the most common causes. 3. Food allergy and food intolerance are not as common as many people believe. 4. There are now many alternative food products available that allow people with a food allergy or intolerance to have similar foods and variety in their diet. And 5. Lactose intolerance, celiac disease and nut allergy are some of the more common food allergies and food intolerances. Well, that's it from me for this episode. But in the meantime, if you need any nutrition information, check out our website at nutrition.org.uk or foodeffectivelife.org.uk. Bye for now.